For my research paper, I chose to focus on the management of student employees in academic libraries and how to foster a mutually beneficial relationship. I started by looking at the role of student employees in academic libraries. First of all, libraries in this area are open a large amount of hours, particularly late nights and evenings, and even 24 hours a day in a lot of cases. Students help provide the necessary staff coverage during all of these extended hours as well as during the day. They often have a variety of duties, working at the circulation or information desk, answering directional questions, providing reference assistance, and helping with building and even maintenance issues, especially during those late night and weekend hours. What makes them a unique employee group? Well, first of all, not only do they provide library services, they also receive them as students. This allows them to bring insight of their peers to academic library staff, and it also increases the potential for approachability at the desk, where students who may be afraid to come get help from the library might see somebody they know from one of their classes and feel more comfortable approaching the desk. There are also generational differences that come from having student employees in the academic library. Some of these can bring challenges, but there's also opportunities there as well. In my research for this paper, I came across an article, Know Your XYZs by Jan Ferry Reed, and she did a great job laying out a lot of the differences between the multiple generations in the workforce today, particularly as it relates to communication styles. For this slide, I chose to focus on Millennials and Generation Z since they will primarily make up the student employee population. They generally prefer quick methods of communication such as texting. They also have a desire for immediate and regular feedback. This is a product of being raised by helicopter parents, the article mentions, and that they're used to always having adults there letting them know how they're doing. This also leads to a high level of comfort with authority figures. Can create some tension as far as expectations about the availability and how often to communicate with authority figures, but it also makes them especially interested in mentoring and taking advice. How to effectively manage student employees, there's a few things to consider. One is the fact that students working in the library have multiple roles. They're students first, employees second, may have more than one job, and often participate in extracurricular activities as well. Making sure to tailor communication and training to meet different learning styles. A lot of these students grew up with flipped instruction in the classroom and are very accustomed to receiving content digitally and then talking about it later, and that can be important to keep in mind for training materials. And also, it's important to integrate student employees into the library and its culture. Some of the value that they bring may not be recognized by library staff or by the students themselves. And so being able to demonstrate that value creates more buy-in and possibly a better experience overall. Why does it matter to effectively manage students in the library? First of all, they bring significant financial savings both to the library and the university, particularly when it comes to work-study students, where the library only has to pay a percentage of their hourly wage. There's value in those peer-to-peer interactions and having students in the library. And they can also take what they've learned in their employment and be ambassadors for the library elsewhere on campus, sharing knowledge of resources and the types of help that are available. Students also might not realize some of the benefits they're getting in working in a library, such as a higher grade point average, better communication skills, and more networking opportunities and additional mentorship. And there's a lot of studies cited in the paper that I wrote, but it's also important to keep in mind some of the generalizations that occur when you're talking about different generations and realizing that people should still be treated as individuals and especially one-on-one. So I wanted to make sure to convey that as well. Thank you for watching my presentation.